Om Mani Mani Mahamuni Swaha. 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 Om Mani Mahamuni Swaha. Dayata Kate Kate Parakate Parasam Kate Bodhi 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 Swaha. Sanje Chodang Chonam La Chanchu Bado Tanya Japsochi Dagi Chujen Kite Sonam Chola Banja Sanje Sho Sanje Chodang Chonam La Chanchu Bado Tanya Japsochi Dagi Chujen Kite Sonam Chola Banja Sanje Sho Sanje Chodang Chonam La Chanchu Bado Tanya Japsochi Dagi Chujen Kite Sonam Chola Banja Sanje Sho 심지어 탐제가도 토자라나 마지막 산재 공부하는 거지 진짜 토바자. 근데 제대로 배 자주선도 라자가 주셔서 랑고 나와라 심을 토를 토지 많아 가지고 한 가수 봐도 달라는 좀 얘기 섬섬.
So let's set our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the peerless state of enlightenment for the benefit of sentient beings. So knowing that to attain that state I must perfect all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. And to perfect those trainings I must of course have a knowledge of them. To gain that knowledge I must study them and I must train in them, and I must be able to study and train based on a non-mistaken source, a non-mistaken presentation. And it is with this in mind that I attend a teaching on the stages of the path to enlightenment this morning. Dunju Tambake. Same game mixer.
딱 이제 그새 잠주 걸 공부 시작하는데 그때 조선화 잠주 걸다 어디 다 잠주들 다 같이 가서는 식 배주 다다다 개주서 도서 그리고 왔다 때는 인자 다다데 산지셔도 소유 전화를 자주 받도 다는 접수 지내서다 어디를 잠주 걸고다 그래서 공부 시작 도주서 다들 가서 당일 저 소주를 전화제 돌아 편지 산지 주고서 다 산지 세비에 왔다 어디서 다들 말씀자 탐제거든 요원이와 야다서 산지 공부를 마치는 게 도봤자 대체도 아니 남사 몰라말에 이제 하나 자주 남들을 치고 말아 주바 자오스 남바야서 뒤남니지 강양으로 자스 다가자 야나 장가 뒤 장가니지 다가자 개치주도 장가디 개치주 매마찬다 즉 식도한테 와 식도한테 안지 가서다 랑게 이라 컴지잖아 랑게 이라 컴지자 개치주로다 말씀자 탐제거든 가서다 산재 고마 토바자 대한 요원이도 토바자 양다고 주가 산재 고마 저버진에게 토바자 고도 맞아도 탐도 자 토바자 대체도는 람삼을 라말에 내줘가 자주 남거는 거 찍고 주바자 원념도 다 뒤나니지 가서 가야로 자사 요원 레니메베 요원서 요원 레니메베 메베 돌아 겨 연사가 지금 자주 남거는 거 찍고 거는 람양도 요하다 요하다 비트한테 라멘에 저 람죠 소도 잖아 냠도 레벨 요한 입에 더 시와 인체 요하스게 되거든.
So we've been covering the topic of going for refuge and generating bodhicitta. And that we found in the recitation of the prayer for refuge and bodhicitta, that section, I go for refuge until I am enlightened through the Buddha, Dharma and the Supreme Assembly. This covers that refuge part of it for us, and is by the virtues that I create through practicing the two collections, and may I attain the state of a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings, is corresponding to the bodhicitta, or the mind of enlightenment. And so, with this in mind, we really go through then this special revisiting really of bodhicitta, of really emphasizing that in our minds. And we reached that point last week when we were really thinking about generating a motivation of particular intensity of compassion and a really profound and in-depth sense of compassion through reflecting on the torment of suffering of all sentient beings, and then reciting how I really must do whatever I possibly can to attain the peerless state of precious enlightenment, in order to quickly really benefit or fulfill the aim of all mother sentient beings. And in order to do that, I will cultivate the instructions on the path to enlightenment, the graduated path to enlightenment, in the context of guru deity yoga. Since this is the quick path to enlightenment, to omniscience, it's combined with the tantric sensibility. And so this is, as it says in the text, we can recite this particular prayer 7 times, 21 times, or as many times as is suitable, possible for us. But the issue is not the number of times that is recited, but rather how we habituate our minds to the essential meaning that's contained within what we're reciting. It's so important that we don't lose sight of that, and to habituate our mind to that meaning is really the key to going for refuge in bodhicitta like this. And the terms here of the particular words of saying, I want to attain the precious state of enlightenment, of complete enlightenment, quickly. And this, there's a meaning behind the repetition of quickly here. And this, the explanation for this comes from the great conqueror Ensapa, Lama Ensapa. And so the first is said to refer to the trainings on the stages of the path to enlightenment, and the second is referring to really taking on highest yoga tantra as the very life force of the path for us.
Dendegi nyamsu lenge de la ta nyabado changgoye de kanje chigi kasore re ta kanje chigi changgoye de ta kanje chigi kasore pajin tekbe ane da shungne ane chigi nyamsu laonda nashi cheba yina ta keba babu kogudo dende nipa yinza ngaranda semjenge duen chube chido sanje gomba chube la ane keba mabu kone nega ke mindu de ine semjenge dungege naso de la ta soda tsawa yine mindu jese nyudu sanje gomba tomne semjenge duen chube jema toba yina ane suyo tusa maria singchi ta kancha suyo tusa maria singchi wada dendege kasora ta jiga sem dingne ane jiga kasora ta sem nyubachi kogudo sem nyubachi
and that when we reflect on this particular objective of ours of attaining the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings, and we want to do that as quickly as we can, and that when we talk about doing this in the context of our practice, independence upon the texts related to the perfection vehicle of the Mahayana, it says there that we accumulate the necessary merit, we purify the necessary negativities over the course of countless eons. 3 countless great eons is often mentioned. But here we're talking about the sense of the deeply felt intensity of compassion when we reflect upon all sentient beings, that we conclude that, to practice for 3 countless great eons for myself in order to attain that state of enlightenment is no problem. I'm fine with that. But I just simply cannot bear that sentient beings continue to be tortured by the sufferings of cyclic existence for that time. And so I must find a quicker way of being able to attain the state of enlightenment so that I can really fulfill that goal of relieving them of that suffering. And so therefore, it's this deeply felt sense of concern for sentient beings that really drives us to quickly attain the state of enlightenment. So we need to really feel this, don't we, at a kind of an experiential level, that to be including the terminology of quickly attain a state of enlightenment doesn't really hold any meaning unless we feel it deep down in our minds, really, that we have this concern to really contemplating the torment that sentient beings are going through. So this has to be really felt in order for that particular, those particular words, that particular terminology to have its full meaning.
What the join in that, and when at a single lava nation, and you are too much. And rank send just Suton in by in there. Suton in by there, washing much catch mobile. Deal about 2 years, some of the cut you in there, that you to a church. Run a panto in at a no giving in by the messenger in a can't cover your body. Same just in Savacella until about 2 weeks lawyer ticket.
So this is a kind of a general rule for us, really, when it comes to our study and our recitation, that we must understand that the words alone that we are reciting will not bring about transformation of mind, and that we must really see them as the reminder of our true purpose, that we have already, assimilated the meaning, but the words are simply bringing it to mind again, so that we habituate our minds to this. And it's so important that we are aware and mindful of this purpose and this a process of habituation when we are reciting, so that when we really start to live what we are aspiring, what we're reciting, then whoever we meet, whatever sentient being we come across, be they somebody who is seen as a beneficial to us or harmful to us or neutral to us, that our mind of benefit, our desire to bring benefit to them, is the first and only thought that arises, and it arises spontaneously. So we must see as our responsibility here that even though, sure, we don't have such an attitude, such an automatic, spontaneous attitude as yet, but we certainly have the potential to be able to generate that attitude. And we do so on the basis of finding good reasoning, that our potential attitude is based on good reasoning. When we have convinced ourselves based on that reasoning, then we go through the process of habituating the mind to what we have already found conviction in. And that really is what our responsibility is here.
차상와 고림 마초 고림 마초 되게 아니 되네 어다 된대 지금 아니 가서 떼도 찍라 아니 지금 가서다 지금 내당보아 지금 딱까지 지금 타메와 내당보아 지금 아니 지금 산지가 사유부터 저에 남을 뭐 차상와 마노와 고림 마초와 다 차상와 고림 마노와 고림 마초와 차상와 유대가 지면서 어다 된대지 냐서 말한 탑매 되게 지면서 요아체 요아 니베데 아니 디간들라 아니 지금 라면 내줘 람그 소도 지는 냐서 난데지 어다데 어데 냐서 나와이나 아니 요아스가 됐다 고ጆ도 상태도 와 고ጆ도 상태도 와 어데지
So then, as the great Lama Ensapa has pointed out, this is what really makes for a meaningful sense of quickly attain the state of enlightenment. And as he's pointed out, that first quickly refers to the attainment of the state of enlightenment, of full enlightenment, by following the stages of the path to enlightenment. And what he's saying here is that this is possible for somebody as a beginner to enter into the path and to be able to trust that this path can take one all the way to the state of enlightenment, because it is a path which is complete, it is a path which is unmistaken, and it is a path which is laid out in an unmistaken order, the correct order. And so it's really something that one can trust, and that means this fulfills the meaning of the first quickly in that statement. The second quickly is inferred by the point of really taking on the practice of Guru Deity Yoga, of highest Yoga Tantra, as the life force of your path.
ring불 마도바 상계 이제 받아 똑바 매트가지. 이네 다 중도 송안에 좀 맞아 봐이나 용거 말아 직장을 줘 대봐 이나 다 라자티 교스케 봐라.
So this is really what this is referring to, of course, is in the second meaning of quickly here is taking the result onto the path. The very strong prerogative of tantric practice, and that means putting a stop to ordinary appearance of really viewing things in that kind of discriminative, ordinary way. I mean, when we put a stop to ordinary appearance, we really are also giving our mental afflictions no chance. And so really it's at that point that we really are starting to live the instructions as we find them in the texts. And so it's so important to be able to understand that this is a living path, something to be integrated rather than just recited, because that brings about no change whatsoever, and we remain as we are. And so we might, take time to really see how, how we're doing ourselves in that regard. That we have been reciting for many years now. We have taken our empowerments, we've done the self-generation, but we see no change, no transformation. What's going on? There's no proper opposition to our mental afflictions. We haven't really got the point, as it were. And that, this shows that our application of what we should be doing is incomplete. It's not satisfactory. So, like as it says in the text, that when the Mahayana is not to be found in just the words of the Mahayana vehicle, that we must live the Mahayana ideal to really make it meaningful.
상하가 냠내잖아. 근데 지구도. 어떻게든 심에 돈에 아니 랑게 강 류가 예수가 강 투도게 대다 투고 저투에게는 공부 잡고도 와. 공부 잡고도 와.
And so, when we talk about what it is to engage in spiritual practice, what really is the Mahayana all about? What is Tantra all about? And so, when we look into that with an unblinking eye and really see what is required, and then we dedicate our body, speech, and mind to really fulfilling the ideals that, as they are described in the Mahayana and in the tantric vehicles, and then we are on the path. We are practicing.
근데 이마사 이나 담보 고츠반에 삐다고 치다 되다 미시바와 미시바데 거디 고고이 내주도 좀 저거도 아니 고츠바 타다 삐다고 용어 말다 이나 림베 아니 야제 저거로다 배준 지기나 배준 지기나.
And so that, at the beginning, of course, we can't expect to engage in kind of perfect quality practice. That we need to really, proceed in stages. It's a habituation. It's something that we need to habituate to, and that, of course, once we are able to keep a firm grip on the reality of the situation of where we stand and how we're proceeding, and to kind of make a very clear decisions on our practice, then we can hope for progress, as long as what we're doing is accompanied by effort.
나서 부고 충전도 되고 부고 충전돼서 다 배날 다워도 되게 치다 미바이나 다 다워도 되게 치다 라에 탑시 지기도 라에 탑시 지기 말이도 양조 지기 갈리 잡고 갈리 절 낭다메 발랑도도 바주 베베네다 바주 베베 그 도블랑도 그래서 주주지 니 쓰는 아메가 잘해야 잡 이제 간장서 그 라에 탑시 라에 탑 간장서는 샤고 정한 이슈 친사가 되네 죽은 나라라네 죽살려도 그 가서는 당분에 삐다고 영어 말다고 림베 그 호텔에 잡고 또 이야기해요 것도 그다 뒤에 집을 가서 냠랭게 대바집에 냠랭 지다데 당분 삐다고 영어 말해 가서 나라서 지다 토마 매반에 깨wal는데 뒤에 돈을 제가 매야 되게 쳐버렸다 제가 메시지를 줘고도 그 레라버스다 요마르와 요마르데 이내다 림베지 곰니 곰수가 간섭서는 아니 그 셈게 연대 인바 인상 아니 고바 탐에도 배줘야 중으로
And so that we really need to see ourselves as, really trying to master particular mental skills with which we have little familiarity. And it's like a young child. If you look at a baby, learning about how it can move its arms, its legs, and then at 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, the process of trying to move from crawling to getting to a standing position, and this, you can see the gradual process as it trains itself in order to master the skill of standing and walking. Or if you look at a calf or something, this process is much more speeded up. After a few hours, a calf may stand in order to be able to feed from its mother, and then within 15 days it may be running back and forth and so on. But it's a gradual process, you can see, from very rickety beginnings, very fragile, unstable beginnings, and then it gains more and more stability in its movements. And so we have to see our practice is something similar here. We're at the very beginning, like at infant stages, and that we're also connecting with something that we haven't had a connection with maybe ever for a long time. Therefore, how can you have familiarity with that? So it's something that we have to trust to the process of habituation. And this also feeds into an essential quality of the mind itself, and that is its malleability, the potential of mind to improve itself, to improve the qualities within, if they are serviced through habituation. And so this is something that we can trust in, and that we must embrace wholeheartedly.
다 치와 군데다 녀모베 샤완도 녀모베 뚝치고 지게는 샤완도 규되게 아니 랑게 류다 아니 저다 나다 랑게 sembi 내다다 망고 저다 내년에 제수잖아 내 나게 고메 제수잖아 녀모스 야라고지 도도야지 류비 차네 있네 녀모 깨되고 와다 깨제 셰당가 저 나게 차네 녀모 깨 삼도 단당 있는 녀모스인데 가서도 럭조 제목 보자 망망쇼 가서 다 같이 저 고메 온거 도되게 요봐 고메 온거 도되게 또 봐. 그래 다 맞아 다들 계획 줘 되게 된 가지고 검지 숙청 매서 안고 내라고 주고 요마데 이내 콜 좀제 요봐서 맞아 잡에 참아요 리베게 아니 곰 간자스나 아니 레라다라다라다라다라다 저야지 레라다라다 아니 간자스나 코 곰바 탐에도 패줘야지 가서는 코 잡에 참아요 봐 인자 아니 곰바 탐에도 패줘야지 그래서 상계에 쓰는데 연구해야 데려와다 곰바 탐에도 패겠다면 상계에 쓰기로 와 상계에 쓰기로 와다 간제 저 단단 거라도 마고메서 때강에 채되고 요래 뒤 곰시 맞아와 인사 곰시 잡아이나 콜을 좀 젠다 잡된 채마다 돼서 뿌다가 요바 인사 아니 곰바 탐에도 패줘야 요에 요거로 와다 요거로 와 어디래 안 다들 다른 것들 내가 당보자 간장소는 년중게 자주가 셈게 양답에 따와게지도 아니 낭낭 슉슉이 도드레지 아니 랑게 나이네자 루기 내다이네자 아니 저거 셈게 계속이네자 강지 돈에 아니 개와 주위라 누가 숙제와 영어에 졸라 누가 숙충하지 용되기로 왔다 용되기로 어디들 다른 것들 내가 당보다 또 스칼레스 작은 간사선 내라도 줘요 되겠지
Of course, at this point, as beginners, all our endeavors will have great difficulty to them, and that our ability to be able to even sincerely implement what we have understood will kind of like feel like really difficult and very problematic. The reason being is that we are very habituated to our own afflictive states of mind, and that that's something that's very obvious for us. Whether actions of body, speech, or mind, we are so habituated to the negative side that these thoughts, these actions, and these words need no encouragement to arise. They kind of like are immediate there. And that we don't need to kind of habituate to them any more than we already are, because they are like first kind of like automatic really for us. And so this is not something that's inherent to the mind, of course, but it just shows that on the one hand how habituated we are to the mental afflictions that kind of dominate us. But also, it tells us about the actual process of habituation itself, how it can be something that arises spontaneously without effort and automatically, and that therefore we can simply change what we are habituating to. And that means that we see how that the positive sides, the positive elements of our character, the kind of noble characteristics of loving kindness, compassion, generosity, etc. These are that which will act in the very same way, have the very same sort of basis as kind of like the mental afflictions that we are already so habituated to, except that the positive qualities that we're trying to cultivate are supported by valid reasoning. And this is an essential kind of advantage that we have when we're trying to habituate to these positive qualities. And that after all, one who has completely habituated to all of their own positive qualities and really has perfected them, and in doing so eradicated through habituation again all negative qualities, is known as a Buddha, as an enlightened being. So it's this process of habituating to the positive potential positive qualities that we have is the key kind of process of progress on the path. And so that and so we are at the stage where we're beginning this process of habituation, and that we look to generate the attitudes through learning and assimilation and reasoning of renunciation, the mind of enlightenment, the correct view of emptiness, etc., and the whole tantra prerogative, and we kind of like reduce all of our negative attitudes and cause to flourish all of our positive attitudes. And that's slowly we will see progress and then transformation. At the beginning now, it's difficult, it's very difficult, but it will become easier through habituation.
Yana Jeda Yana, Yuas Yana, Gaba Dame Sumdo, Swa Sabala, Mudewa, and Kazaji, Lugila, Sanjawa, Nua Tambuter. That need to get Sedungila, Sanjawa, even to the Shava Yuja.
There is also an alternative interpretation of this quickly attaining the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. And it says the first of these quicklies can also refer to being able to attain the state of enlightenment in one life, without having to rely on practicing for 3 countless great eons and accumulating the necessary merit and so on. And the second of the quicklies refers to being able to attain that state of enlightenment in one short life of this degenerate age. And so the first of these, being able to attain the state of enlightenment in one life, as referring to the first quickly, without relying on having to practice for 3 countless great eons, is referring to, as it states in the lower sets of tantras, be it the Kriya, Charya or Yoga tantric sets, about having a long life,
a long life,
a very extended lifespan in which to be able to practice and to accumulate the necessary merit and eradicate the necessary negativities in order to attain the lifetime, attain the state of enlightenment in one lifetime. So and then using the potential of mantra and meditative concentration and substance, right? And so to be able to use those, combine those in one's yogic practice, to be able to use all of that to attain the state of enlightenment in one extended lifespan. Whereas the second of these quicklies refers to an ordinary being.
Ordinary life.
An ordinary life. Yeah. In one short lifetime, it says, of this degenerate age. And this, of course, refers to one's exclusive practice of highest yoga tantra, that there within is the potential to be able to do that.
What is that? Nuance, what is that? What did they go to that? Just Namsulai to that. What did the Takaja? Simjing touch about to reach it to that. Can just knew the Yasari. What I did, tap me down, you go to that. Ruata, tap deal tap, pageant table during Bushun go to that. Cause you are and Chicasoleta, Chicasola, Sing Jen, and Namne Jen, the Takaja, Sanjay to what you do. And Tagane Shigaya says so a Matuba, such a Lucilla Sanjay, and the Tapshituna, what a dear, at that now so long to a GH. What are you was nigga you would what did the Kupa share? What did it?
So it's really you can see here as the ante is upped, really as one looks through these quicklies and to be able to see what is the quickest way in which to be able to attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. And that one it just looks at what's presented in the perfection vehicle, and that the three countless great eons, etc., of practice, and then the extended life within the context of practicing along the lower tantras to be able to attain enlightenment in that amount of time, and then on the basis of one life, in one body, and practicing the highest yoga tantra, to be able to quickly attain the state of enlightenment.
다 류직세도 가서나 다 배나 토람 탑으로 배나 체들을 내당 보아지 안자 냠술라네 체직을 상계 고마 토바 이나 다 된데 간사데 토람 탑에세 류네 주주고요 다 탐에 류디 안 류네 주네 류네 주도도 안 류직 차고요 말이 류직 차고요 말이 다 되면서 체직 류직을 상계했어도 안 류직을 상계 봐서 어디 또 14부 때나 14부 때이나 류직을 상계 또 샤마도 봐서 그래 그래서 토람 탑서도 장주가 셈이 요바체 돈인 모습으로 또 사도 택제 토람 탑서도 류 내주를 이 류디 이게 가지고 류 주고요 상체가 류 말이야 될라 때는 안 류직을 땅 주고요 봐다 류를 내고요 말이야
And so that this statement also of the attainment of enlightenment in one life, one body, this is sometimes that's often seen in the texts, but when one looks into it and really looks into the detail, we can see maybe, yes, one life, one can attain the state of enlightenment, but the one body concept is open to debate, and that it's because, for example, on the Mahayana vehicle, when one attains the path of seeing, and that one does that with an ordinary body, but on the attainment of the path of seeing, that body is transformed into a mental body, and that body can't be harmed from then on in. And so, it when you look at it, that's a different body. It's not one body anymore. And so we can see that we can certainly question some of these statements. And so from an ordinary to ordinary appearance, it looks like one body.
Yeah.
It isn't seen as like transformed in any way.
소와다 말레 조고라 소와다 와치라 쳐와 중 송바다 제단이 집에 년나 측면에서 산나 되미고 겁나 줄라 메집에 로이 투 신도 초에 교수네 신게 투라데 봐 내가 이 송바다
So really, in brief, one says that if one takes, the highest yoga tantra as the very life force of our path, that is the means of being able to attain the state of enlightenment in one lifetime, and that's really the quickest way of being able to attain that state of enlightenment. And there's a quote from Geshe Dromtompa in relation to Lama Atisha, where he says, "Supplicating Lord Atisha is a greater blessing than supplicating any other object." And also from the great Lord Lama Tsongkhapa himself, he says, "Though you listen, you cannot catch the word. Though you think, you cannot understand. Though you meditate, there is no realization in your continuum. At that time, your power of mind is very weak, and you are instructed to rely on the power of the basis."
신라 툴라다 신라 툴라다 내가 이제 다간제 로다 그래서 유게 받잖아 다간제 조사 장치에다 오다 되게 되다 아니 다간제 라마다 이다 뭐 예매도 되는 소아되게 아니 저거서 오다 간제 지금 아니 야라도 배고니까 그래서 조사 장치에 아니 멘제 피해 오다 간제 지금 뭐들 아니 진압수에서도 뒤집 장치에다 나서가 정도로 와 뭐들이죠 너들이죠.
So the power of the basis, of course, can refer to one's field of supplication, the merit field of any field whereby we can accumulate merit and purify our negativities, of seeing ourselves as indivisible from our own root guru, practicing the 7 limbs and the mandala offering, and any sort of a process whereby we can make these powerful supplications to like the descending nectar light meditations and so on. All of this is availing of the power of the basis by a mean as a way of refining our minds.
and then they get get Jomia and Yana to be one and so the Chieta. What did they and Tagani Chidana Arazo do you know so Chicaso send my give at the can and chair there to get Kadechua in by in there. And it did the Magiva Dosan and the Magiva Yondan de la Salata, my devachin, Magiva tea, and it Casola Chica Caso the and it debated with Yanza and it debated with an Yogi Yanza and it Sosati Chanchi, she came at and Sosati Chanchi. What did they cheer? And Tagani Magiva the can and Cheva tea and it should be twinking a dredge and Chicaso the Takacha Sudchi. What did the Juana should be 2 years Juana and Yabujura?
And so that's when we're using the process of learning, studying, reflecting, and meditation, and so on to address the teachings and to try to transform our minds, but we can't see any effect, any positive improvement. We have to kind of consider that the negative side of my attitude, my own negativities, are creating obstacles here, and so I need to actually use the power of the basis of going through the supplication basis on through offering the 7 limbs of practice and the mandala offering, and to really go through that sort of side in order to refresh really my whole attitude. And here it's same when we're say unhappy, not to get bogged down in reflecting constantly on why I'm unhappy, why me, but rather to see again that very clearly if this sense of misery or unhappiness or frustration is the result of my own negativity, and therefore I will use this as an opportunity to engage in purification practices, in the accumulation of merit practices, again through supplicating and using the the practices within the 7 limbs to create that. And so by doing that, it's pure practice, isn't it? Because you're taking suffering onto the path. You're using your frustration as a conducive condition to engage in solid, pure spiritual practice. So really, any problem that arises for us, whether through our body, speech, or mind, we have to really see it as a reminder, a sign for us, saying, oh yeah, now I need to actually turn now right straight away into spiritual practice. I need to see this as a sign, as a symbol, reminding me that I have negativities around here, and that I need to do some serious purification right now. Because if I don't and just kind of wallow in this particular suffering, it'll just create causes for more, probably extra suffering later on. And so it really, the wise approach here is to engage in purification.
And carry near Tata Mando against Taka, near Nasa in air toss yon, the monkey when a shooter was a part on a 2 new getting so yon take it to not. Tatico Rangi, because a Narsa lane, but you have touch tango, but what too much. And the dealer then a lane must start to do a Masaya Tapsi, and a Tanda Yoba jumped up cheers. What I did to an animal, Namchi looks on Chavata, Rana, Sangi Jump the church and Chavatilla. Jumzetua.
And so this is, we have to see these kind of like these occurrences, things that arise for us like this, and to put them immediately into a spiritual context. Just like when we have a pain recurring, it kind of tells us there's something wrong with the body, or a fever, and if it happens like just once, we don't pay too much attention. But if it's happening again and again, we feel, oh, there's some issue here. I'm going to take myself to the doctor. I'm going to get myself checked up. And so you go through the tests and the analysis and so on to see what you have. Then you take the medicine. But in the same way here, when we have recurrences of particular mental attitudes, we have to see that this is a result of negativity. I've got stuff, I've got issues, and so what do? I must use this to be able to engage in spiritual practice. That I need to be able to. Yes, I need to be able to, deal with the negativities that I've already accumulated on my mind stream, to try to purify them as well as the imprints of them, and to also see what's occurring to me in a kind of as a salutary lesson, not to engage newly in accumulating such negativities. And so this way, I kind of like I'm actually making really meaningful my good fortune in having met with the Buddha's instructions in the first place. So after all, that's what I need to, what I was so inspired with in the beginning, that I actually am now integrating what I am I've already accepted. So that's what it's all about, that this is a practical path, and the Buddha's teachings were always to be integrated. They needed to be used, applied. So that's just the only reason why we study. We study in order to put them into practice. It's no good just having knowledge and not using it. This is not Buddhism. This is not the practice of Buddhism. And so we need to be able to see that these are all practical instructions that I must integrate into my life, into my daily life. And so this is the kind of ultimate, really, and for us to be able to use whatever occurs for us, to automatically see it as a road into practice, into our being able to apply the Dharma. And that means whatever suffering arises for me, I can see a way of engaging in spiritual practice. Whatever happiness arises for me, it's exactly the same. I see it as a means of engaging in spiritual practice. There's no essential difference between them for me. And that means, when all the talk about obstacles, of inner obstacles, outer obstacles, secret obstacles, etc., etc., here, when one has that attitude of taking everything that happens as a prompt to engage in spiritual practice, no obstacles. There can't be any obstacles. And obstacles really are only those that we create ourselves.
And the obstacle you go to say, Kela Lubaga Tago Gudwa, protect Casa, obstacle you go to obstacle Kayachedo, Pache Kayachedo, and Kela Mambuta Gudwa, protect. The quiet Kagamandua. They were to buy in an and they were to be Culipetutanto. Don't let you in an don't say Culipetutanto.
So that's wonderful. Then we have no need for any particular, anything that we wear or amulets or anything like that to protect us from obstacles. We don't need to take any particular extra precautions to prevent us from obstacles, because our mind, our mental attitude is doing it. We're taking anything that happens to us, whether it's suffering or happiness, as a means of practicing the path. Therefore, obstacles themselves are a wonderful aid onto the path. So it makes for a very relaxed, easy existence, doesn't it? Whether we're sitting, going, moving, whatever we're doing, it doesn't matter. Everything that happens to me is as a means of turning it into conducive conditions for practicing the Dharma. And so, beautiful.
Sanjay Chilabe, and not the way Yanjo to be Manga to be again, they do Manga to be again, Jingle Laputusana. Don't let you any by oh, that's Sanjay Jingle Lab, Neg Dungege, Dungeti, and Caso the Takaja, Tamachayata, and the Chico 타마차에다 마음을 동에 유마주에게 체도 아니 산제가 다시 되기도 삼상 오다 징글라고도 삼상 오다도 되잖다 대도 근데 중앙에네 아니 지금 되주는 아니 산제기다 소소 최주에 꾸마 징도 삼상이다 용도해 주고 봐.
So whatever occurs to us, we can see it as the Buddha's, exhortation to practice, or gentle reminder to practice, whether it's happiness, and we have a feeling of happiness, and we see that, that's like the Buddha's blessing to say, create more causes for that happiness. You need to really engage in more and more causes to bring about that happiness. When suffering arises for us, you see it as the blessing of the Buddhas, reminding us to say, you need to set out bringing suffering, not just this suffering, but suffering to an end. And that you certainly don't want to create any more of these kinds of causes that would lead to suffering in the future. So everything, any happiness, suffering that arises is seen as the Buddha. It's the Buddha's kind of little tap reminding us to put the teachings into practice. Really an exhortation to engage in the actual application of the teachings.
기부 용거래 아니 당한데 생겨 지금 depression 생긴다고 suicide 생긴다 미시바라
And so you can see with that sort of attitude there can be no means, no opportunity for a mind to become down, unhappy, depressed, or to engage in suicide or anything like that. It'd be impossible. And so these kind of things occur, really when we haven't got sufficient means to mentally kind of deal with them, to think ourselves out of it. Also a quote from Tilopa to Naropa, where he says, O yogi, of all the aids to your practice, Guru Yoga is the most excellent.
게도 저랑거나 양모 아니 강도 도자 라면 나와다 제만요 체지게 산제함 체지게 산제 밤 내가 내가 용용 받다写속심
Cái thì còn rồi Jetson Rang mà thì jampa yang men dorjin yang jom.
그게 거기서도
Jetson Rang Mawa na ma.
투제 첨부 까나까 제주랑 만나마 제주다 거기서도 만나마다 제주 잠에 왔습니다. 제주 잠에 마세스 왔다. 마세 가도록 다 제레슬라도 제주 잠에 고유도. 걔도 저랑 원아야 못스. 다 이나 다 수입바이네. 수입바이네 내가 요. 다 가자 근데 이바이나야. 다 근데 이바이네 다 라멘 내줘. 다 되는 냠슬한 거죠. 라멘 내줘면은 용다 보랍니다. 근데자 당내 라멘 나와 다 제마뉴스. 뒤준도는 라멘 나와. 겁니다. 같이 검대 제마뉴스. 대저 세지가 산제 고바데 디토네 연구를 했어. 영화 다스.
And so also there's a quote from Mok Chokpa, and he says, I doubt liberation is possible by relying solely on strong meditation. But there is no doubt liberation comes through faith and devotion. And then also from him, if the greatly compassionate one is white, let him be white. If the Manjushri is red, let him be red. If Hivajra is blue, let him be blue. Whenever or wherever I stay, I am never separated from the Lama. The time for becoming Buddha in this one single lifetime is now. So really the key thing is here is referring to the perfect practice of highest yoga tantra. never seeing yourself separated from your root guru.
어디다 라멘 내줘다. 다 이담다 라멘 내줘. 그래서 이담다 라멘 뭐 예매도 돼. 아니 어때? 다 간제 저 카도디 게치 먹게 말와. 카도 뭐 바보 가고 다들 뒤서라 카도 저 게치 먹게 말. 게치 쉬데 라마 이담 뭐 예매도 돼. 아니 어때 돼. 다 간제 저 냠내 지에치.
So the point here is saying that the color is not the key thing when one is engaging in highest yoga tantra here. The key thing is to never see yourself as separated from your own root guru in the aspect of your meditational deity.
Then that social set the Zula as a lama chiva look as a social set the Zuta, Mati take a look at social set the Nile, Ganji the chop as a lama chiva look at social set the Zunesata, Dunjin Nankala, Basan Machine, Basan case, Shintombo Yashi Gachewa, Loma Medo, Jibu Yonzo, Zeva De Vina, and it's Nakaja Sigi, Chibu Kiki, the Ramuchi Titoshi Yamba Denka, Nazo Bema, Dama Sambi, Mijaba Yuriasa. 大嘛，我们还是身体中些开吧，对呢，大嘛那么啥加，可是的加，集中帮几多送了预计是大嘛，西边台湾那做白嘛，大嘛你们经过几天了，让给真正在那么点呢，那送点多几次嘛啥送点多几次别是给弄给吃路钱。 이게 숨대 도지 접어서도 닦아져 가서 소다 장세 상하 도받대 숨대서 도지 집에 결론이 차루체 구도 굴굽대가 됐다 차에 아니 가서 취체체 여번 냠샤게 되나 되게 가는 공세나 고들 잡고 로젠나 봐 굴러 죽은 몸에 도지 쇠시 아니 울라서 울라 다시 가서 배샤 세제 도지 소아 제배 김에 따서 여기랑 현재
So now it comes to that limb of the 7 limbs, which is describing the generation and the practice in relation to the merit field. And so it says there are 2 traditions customary when generating the merit field. One, which it refers to the Lama Chopa or the Guru Yoga tradition, and the other which is combined or inferred with this tradition of the quick path. And here it says that both are perfectly fine. It doesn't matter which one you choose, but here initially it's going to describe the generation of the merit field in relation to the Guru Yoga tradition. And so here one visualizes in the space in front this very immense wishing tree, which is resplendent with lush foliage of leaves and flowers and fruits, and something which is very beautiful. And then in the center of which is this very broad and tall throne, precious throne, which is held up by 8 great snow lions. And on this throne is a very wondrous, multicolored, variegated lotus seat, and the lower petals of which just cover the throne itself. The petals of the lotus continue, and they become, each layer of petals gets smaller as it goes up in height, and that there are on the 4th layer of these petals, or the 4 central petals, there's another kind of a variegated, multicolored lotus moon and sun disc mandala seat, on which sits one's own kind root guru, and he is seen as holding the 3 vows of the pratimoksha or individual liberation vows, the bodhisattva vows, and the tantric vows. and he is a Vajra holder monk, and he has the color of kind of a burnished gold. He is radiant, he is lustrous, and his right hand is held in the mudra of teaching the Dharma, and his left hand is in the meditative absorption posture, holding an alms bowl filled with nectar. He is wearing the saffron robes of a monk, and on his head is a pandit's gold-colored hat, and he's also marked with adorned with the major and minor marks of a Buddha, and he's like radiant with kind of like radiating light, and that he's seen as like inhaloed by this light and sitting in the Vajra posture. And so this gives us the central figure of the external aspect of a fully ordained monk, but also within holding the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, and secretly engaged in tantric practice. And so then at the heart of the central figure is the conqueror Shakyamuni Buddha, and at the heart of conqueror Shakyamuni Buddha is the conqueror Vajradhara. And so the main figure, as we have heard, is in the center and surrounded by four main petals. And on the petal to the right is the figure of Yamantaka and the assembly of deities of the Yamantaka Tantra. On the petal to the left is the figure of Haruka Chakra Samvara and all the assemblies of deities of that Tantra. And don't get that please. The song song can and then on the petal in front is the assembly of deities connected with the Guhya Samaja Tantra, and that the one on behind is the assembly of deities surrounding the figure of Hivadra. And then also there's other four main petals. Then if we go through like petals going the layers of petals going down from that, then we have the assembly of the remaining highest yoga tantric deities, including Kalachakra, Krishna Yamari, and Raktan Yamari, etc.
딜과 다다데 가서라 소신 티체 다 소신 다 dwindela 오다 티체 베터 티체 다 dwind게 딜라 아니 단데데 그래서 소신 조 dwindela 아니 왜서 저저 랑게 다 랑게 자외라마 랑 디나 세기도에 로이트 다 지다대로 다 dwind게 딜라 아니 랑게 자외라마 랑게 자외라마라 아니 지금 최종원도게 아니 라마서 권이 예定지 dwindela.
So it says also again, saying here in the merit field, and referring to the picture there in the center on the wall, is a section just in front of the main figure. On another lotus is our own kind root guru, and surrounded by all those gurus from whom we have received teachings directly. And so then, as we go down through the different layers of petals, as we said here, the first of those following from our own root guru and the surrounding gurus is the section of the all remaining highest yoga tantric deities, and then after that. And that then the first of these, then we'll go through like the different other tantric sets, and so that the next layer of lotus petals will hold the Buddha Sarvavid Vairocana as the main deity of the yoga tantric set. And then below that, the next is the assemblage of the deities of the charya or performance tantric set with the Vairocana Abhishambodhi in the center. And then the next layer will include the assemblage of deities of the Kriya or action tantra set surrounding Muni Trisamaya Vyuha. And so then in the next layer come the group of Buddhas, known as the Buddhas, the 1000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon. Since this eon is referred to as fortunate because of the fact that 1000 Buddhas will come, and the Shakyamuni Buddha is the fourth of those. The next will be Buddha Maitreya, and that these are all assembled in that next layer of lotus petals. And of course, in this grouping also will be the group known as the 35 Buddhas for purification. Yeah.
35 Buddha
and the 8 medicine Buddhas and so on. These are all in the section of Buddhas. The next line of petals holds the great bodhisattvas, and that these are represented by the 8 close disciples of the Buddha, as the great bodhisattvas, and they are, Manjushri, Vajrapani, Avalokiteshvara, Kshitigarbha, Sarvaniravana, Vishkambin, Akashagarbha, Maitreya, and Samantabhadra.
Di Omanala, Kasa Ranje, Takasa Ranje, Kasa Jumi so, Omanam Lasa, Nede Judula so. Takaja, that di Omanala, Takaja, Kaso the Janju, near Sejake, the Oma Pentatela, and Ranje, and Ranje Tachobata, Ranje Papati. And the Omatilla Takaja, near Duke, that Nede Judula so, near Duke, because of near Duchibana to call you some such commercial. What a chap.
So the next layer holds the great practical Buddhas. There's a numbering of like 12 practical Buddhas, and then these are arhats, and then also below them are the great hearer practitioners, such as the 16 arhats, etc. And then below those are the circle or a line of the a circle really of the Dharma protectors, those who are protecting us. And then outside of the main merit field, in the four directions, you'll see standing are four protectors. They are Dhritarashtra in the east, surrounded by Gandharvas, and Virudaka in the south, surrounded by Kumbundakas, Virupaksha in the west, surrounded by Nagas, and Vaishravana in the north, surrounded by Yakshas, and they are protecting our practice from obstacles. And so then, having generated the merit field to this extent, then the main figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha in the center, light rays emanate. Light rays equal in number to all of the Guru deities in the merit field, and then those that are heading above the central figure, it's like a stream of multicolored lights, at the tip of which is a lotus, moon and sun disc mandala seat, on which sits Conqueror Vajradhara, surrounded by all of the gurus of the consecrated practice lineage, including Tilopa, Naropa, and Dompipa, the great Dompipa. So you see there on that particular representation of the merit field, above the central figure, you'll see 5 lines of gurus, and these are the consecrated practice lineage.
Pick up. I put here. No. Possible? Possible? Ah, yeah. Possible, no possible. Ah, good. That's too small. That's okay. No problem. This. What? 다 라메 두간에 위해서 야 된저서 처벌 때는 다 이제 단다 라마카지 두첸카지 챔피언스와 보다 그때 란체 니 숨시 나도와 파이프라인 도와 나도와 땅가디 인더션 부가 인더션 근데 그것들 다단다 데이트 인더스트리 샤르면도 땅 뭐냐잖아 제 니에 숨지 시제 기대 직접
So that the 5 lines here, as you can see, above the central figure of Guru, our own world Guru, and the are to be seen not so much as in the 2-dimensional representation here, but rather as 3-dimensional, and so that you have those 2 on the left and the 2 lines on the left are covering the front, the back, and the left and the right. And the central one is going directly up from the crown of the main figure. So they're in a circle really.
다 되네 저거 다 둥게 딜라 다 간자 저거 거서데 다 간자 요다 간자 다데 키기도 딜라 아니 겨도지 창제
So again, we're saying at the in the center here at the top, you'll see the figure of Vajradhara. And descending from that, you have Tilopa and Naropa and so on, coming down that line. They're all in the aspect of Manjushri. Coming down.
다 되게 둥게 아니 배상화 두바네다 맞아 가서 개부 인터프트라서 배상화 두베게 기바티게 되마.
And so then on the left hand column is headed by Guhya Samaja, and then all of the deities within the Guhya Samaja Tantra, Indra Bodhi, etc.
Yeah, and then that the Dambotic Tablo de la Casode Pedoji Chiche.
And the second column there on the left is headed by Yamantaka.
And Yamataka,
and that's all the gurus of that particular tantra.
What did it say? That the Chujong was the Chujong was the Dungitilla and Casade Heruka.
And then the extreme right column is Heruka and all the assembly of deities of the Heruka Tantra.
And then the Heruka di Tablo de la and the George Pande Adishana Katam Tigre Chuduki.
And the next the other column there on the right behind the column of Heruka is the column headed by Lama Atisha, and including all the lamas known as the 16 Kadampa drops. So that will include Atisha, Dromtompa, etc. down to our own root guru. So that whole those 5 columns are all together grouped as the assembly or grouping of the consecrated practices lineage.
jitun jambe yang la ta kanja je kombu ludu la sobe lama su kwani yo chacha ane dene pa drebe jitun jamba la ane kaso da ta kanja je papa tome la sobe jaje juju lama na kwani yo samsa cha watene cha.
And so, as you can see here, again, and a good example of the lights emanating from the heart center of the central figure, the multicolored lights, and producing then on a variegated lotus and moon disk on the groupings of gurus there. The top grouping is the on the right hand side of the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha. To the left, as we're looking at it, is the grouping of the lineage of extensive deeds, at the center of which will be Lord Maitreya, and surrounding Lord Maitreya the gurus related to that lineage of extensive deeds, including like Arya Asanga and so on. And then and again, if we're looking out to our right and coming out from the left hand side of the main figure, you'll see another set of groups, and again look at the top grouping, and then the center, that's Buddha Manjushri, because this is the lineage of gurus of the profound view, lineage, and so Manjushri is surrounded by all of the lamas and gurus closely related to the profound view, including, of course, Arya Nagarjuna and so on. And then you'll see below on both sides, to the left and right, very similar groupings of three different groups. You see those just below the main figures of in the extensive deeds and the profound view lineages. And they're representative of the three strains of the Kadampa lamas. The Kadampas associated as the Kadampa textual or treatise lineage, the Kadampa instructional lineage, and the Kadampa Lamrim or graduated path lineage. So they are similar on both sides. And so then the lower of the groups there, of those, that set of like 5 groups you can see there, the lower larger group on both sides again is similar, and this represents what are known as the New Kadampa or Geluk tradition, which is the assimilation of all of the Kadampas, treatise, instructional, and Lamrim traditions or graduated path traditions, together with the combination of the 3 main tantric sets of Guhya Samaja, Chakra Samvara, and Yamantaka. And this became the Geluk tradition, and of course the main figure of that is Lama Tsongkhapa, and then surrounded by the main lamas of that tradition, including, of course, Kedrup J and Gyaltsab J. So many gurus related to the particular Geluk tradition.
송이 와도 송샤도 다 뒤도 외세 쳐발 때는 소싱네 뒤도 외세 쳐발 때는 알 랑게 진짜 자외 라마 라 아니 전도 것도 그 라마 조건에 요가 쳐거든요.
So here, as I was saying, I've mentioned it already, but here it says, yes, again, that in the front, then just below and in the front of the main figure is a discrete group, in the center of which is our own kind root guru, and then surrounded by all of those teachers and gurus from whom we have received teachings directly. So that's where Genla is pointing there. And so when it comes to visualizing the merit field, I accept that it's very difficult to get it in all the details clear when we're visualizing, but I think more important is that we have a very strong feeling and through our imagination that all are present, all are there for us. It's very important.
되게 그거 다 지다 가서도 이 담에 남바 민자와 아니 저거 산제 장세 가고 컨트롤러 소에 남바 민자와 요다 이네 되게 건가 사회 라메기 아니 남바 2 되겠지.
And that even though we see them all in their different aspects of or they're all kind of representing different groupings of the different tantric set gurus and the yidams and also the dakas, dakinis, the bodhisattvas and buddhas and so on, but we can see them all as having the aspect of our own root guru, in the form of our own root guru.
다 되게 건가 아니 가서도 다 간제 저 가서도 저 간제 소신 되게 돼 아니 가서도 다 시우 저게 다 간제 샘제가 되는 주변에 잘 사고 해야 되겠지. 가시 파 샘제 되는 주가 가시 수패 가시 파패 가시 수패 다 간제 모두는 다 가서도 수진 딱 가서 샤마된데 수진 유시 잡시를 답에 가서 못이네. 선택을 되어 주대지.
And also that it's very important that we do not see the merit field that we are visualizing as something static, but it's actually there's constant action going on all the time. The gurus in all the gurus are emanating replicas, going out, fulfilling the needs of sentient beings, and then coming back again. And we see all this action going on, and that and it's happening 24/7, constantly.
What did it say? New York, you something. New York.
Yeah, it's like as busy as New York. The merit field that never sleeps.
What did it say? Not sure now. I think we need to be quality. Easy.
You need a microscope to see it.
다 대다 라라게 되나 다 대대 초신 대다 라라게 되나 아니 덴디 부송 초발 라라게 소배 롱기 쳐나 왜 그러시 그 부딘 나봐 요 되겠죠. 어떤 부딘 나봐 요 맞죠.
And then also in front of each of the members of the merit field is this very good quality small table on which sits the volumes of their own scriptures, the teachings that they have given. And they are appearing as light.
딱 이제 good qualities 생각하죠. good qualities에서 비타고 되는 거 다 딜레 비타가 가서나 손이 조더블 줘요. 아니 대디 부좀 줘봤지. 손이
So it's like when we say good quality, it's like not something that we can even conceive of in terms of quality, but quality that arises from the perfect collection of the perfect merit of two collections. Something is emanated like so perfect, really, kind of like a little throne table for these texts.
먼저 some good quality company 약고지 some 고도.
Yes, yeah. We might think of good quality as something coming from, a good company making a designer table or something.
근데 맞아. 손이 저도블 좋아했죠. 손이 저도블
So
좋아했죠.
it's something that arises from the merit of two collections.
우리나라 수고 주는 왜 그런지 부딘나 봐요. 대다게 치료도 아니 강라 간도고 두베고 봤나? 대다게 치료 단달라면 강라 간도 다 심제 강라 빼나 심제라 아니 저 팬토에게는 다 치도 아니 다 두주 된대지라 아니 저 가서도 다 내다 된대지라 가리 가게 유배됐다. 강라 간도게 두베고 봤어. 다 삼님 미셔봐. 초주 좋았어. 다 빼나. 초주 좋아. 어떤데 상태. 어떤데 자. 강라 간도게다. 배치 가서다 주고라 주 사바고라 사바다 가리 고안에 딱 주주 물론 쓰나 요만에 실에 딱 이제 가리 고고 요바다 다 뒤에도 편모 준비해도 세도 세
That and then out of this inconceivable array of emanation bodies, out of this an inconceivable array of emanation bodies spreads out in all directions. To wherever living beings can be tamed. As I mentioned, this 24/7 action of the emanations going out to be of whatever benefit is necessary to beings. And here we can recall the beautiful prayer from the Bodhisattva's way of life, where people need food, there will be food. Where they need a bridge, there will be a bridge, etc., etc. Of whatever need is necessary. So whatever is necessary that is beneficial, of course. Not whatever they need. Nothing harmful.
가서 라면에 줘 라면에 남슬람이 여 왔다 가자 디나로다 가서 소신 공부시다도 어디나 시체 다 단다도 마티 디루가 소신 센터로네스 다 랑게 뒤에 태타게 남게네서 생기지 못하게 되고 뭐지 치토시 양바시다 디 땡제서 잡라 중세 녀와라스 생기지 못하게 되고 뭐지 치중고시게 땡가 나서 빼마 다와 님의 긴고지 달은 거라게 지자사를 남아지 뭐 나바타와 샤자 두바자 안에 구도 스스마도 우주도다 대바 샤지 차니 샤지 가서 샤지 차니 예 최제다 연냠자가 되나 두세가龙山 나바 콜라 주고 몸에 도저 수와 세배집에 다서 여기가 샤제 콜레집에 여기 풍부 나 샤도지 기르고 쇼바자
And so that particular description of the generation of the merit field is according to the Guru Yoga practice. And so since some of you will be doing Guru Yoga Puja and so on, and making that as part of your practice, then you can include this visualization in that Guru Yoga Puja practice. And now comes the quick path. This particular text's version of the merit field. And so here we visualize again in the space in front of us again this very broad precious throne, a kind of a massive precious throne held up by 8 great snow lions. And then on top of that and slightly behind is another throne, slightly smaller, held up by 8 snow lions, 8 great snow lions as well. And on this second throne is a lotus, a very variegated lotus, sun and moon mandala seat, on which sits our own kind root guru, here in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha. And so the Buddha's body is the kind of like again molten gold colored. He has the ushnish or crown protrusion. He has one face, 2 hands. The right hand is in the teaching of Dharma mudra. The left hand is in the meditative absorption mudra, holding an alms bowl filled with nectar. And that he is wearing the saffron robes of a monk, and he is adorned with the major and minor marks of a Buddha, and is in the nature of pure, clear light. And then he's enhaloed in that light and sitting in the Vajra posture.
Then Lama Tuga on the Tuga never say that Lama Tanda Nambas, Tenjo to Trebe, Nemo, and Saint Pendete like Jawatoji Chana, Namlechila, Lamana Jukonishuba. Yechoso, and the Casata. Yechoso, so Trebe, Nemo, Pendete la Children Chambe, like Jachichu Lamana Kono. Yenchoso, you said Trebe, Nemo, Pendete la Children Chambe, la Samota, Lamana Konishuba. To Joso. That Trebe, Nemo, Saint Pendete, and the Jatsa Lamala, Rala was a trade Lamana to call it. The Daja Tower doors, Yedam Sanje, Jansen Power, Jansen, Sanje, Jansen Power, Pomo, Deso Yibia, Swan and the corner shoe bars, and Teda Ranaga to the Tendipu to Ranaga, Lungi Chunama, Yoyana, put in number Yavas, Teda Chiredo, Kala Kandu, Tribal Sandi Michamo, Chojo Travelers, and Tunga Tanja Chivo on Taba Tugaho. One bit Semba said, Casada, Tuga Home with Sembas, Selami, and Setamias. Tama Amata Chibachi, but that's what you go to order that to a Sunday job there. Shabbat Chimula Mazunga Chibacha, or that is.
And so we can see then that apart from the central figure, the aspect of the central figure being Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, and that the remainder of the merit field is very similar to the Guru Yoga merit field as was described before, so that from the heart center of the central figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, then light rays emanate, equal in number to all the gurus of the merit field, and that again at the tips of the particular light rays will be this lotus and a moon disc seat, and on the one that is above, going above the main figure, we have the figure of the conqueror Dorje Chang, or Vajradhara. He is surrounded by, of course, all the lineage, gurus of the lineage of consecrated practice. And again, to the right of the main figure, again the rays of light on the tips of which again we have a lotus and a moon disc seat on which sits Lord Maitreya, surrounded by all of the gurus of the lineage of extensive deeds. And to the left, again with the variegated light on the tips of which is a moon and a lotus and moon disc seat, on which sits Lord Manjushri, surrounded by all the gurus of the profound lineage practice. To the front, again similarly, we have the light emanating at the tips of which we have a lion throne with a lotus and moon disc, on which sits our own kind root guru, surrounded by all of our gurus from whom we have received teachings directly. And they all around them then, continuing on that, surrounding them are the groupings of the different meditational deities, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Dakas, Dakinis, and the protectors of the teachings, as well as the wisdom beings. And and again, I said, and in front of them all is this perfect little table on which sits the representation of the teachings that they have given, the scriptures in the form of light. And then also the same busyness is there in that merit field, from that inconceivable array of an inconceivable array of emanation bodies spreads out, moves out in all directions to wherever sentient beings can be tamed or benefited. Here also then on the crown of the principal figures in the merit field is a white Om. At their necks is a red A, and at their hearts is a blue hung. And these syllables are clearly seen in the merit field.
다 세트업자 다 라메 두개 혼래 다 두개 혼래 외세 주변 아니 외세 주는 란식이 되네 아니 공부하다 되면 20바 제자 다다다데 담시 바르와다 공부하다 20바 수제자 그거죠.
So then the next part of the merit field, that's from the heart of the central figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, from the hum at his heart, light rays emanate. And they draw back the wisdom beings from their natural abode in the Dharma Dhatu, and they come back and to absorb into the figures that we have visualized in the merit field, known as the pledge beings. And so then and so this is done in the conjunction with this offering prayer as well, and that we actually witness this happening with the wisdom beings coming from their natural abodes, and then we see them absorbing into the figures of the merit field, the pledge beings. And of course this is unnecessary. They're already enlightened beings, but this is all for our purpose. It's part of our practice that we to help us to gain more conviction in how special the merit field is, for example. And so then that prayer goes: you who become Lord of all, who became Lord of all beings, you the deity who destroyed the terrible Mara and his armies, O blessed victor with perfected knowledge of all things, please come here together with your retinue. O blessed victor, for countless eons you practiced compassion out of love for beings. So we leave it there for today. So then again, so just then very quickly, something that we will of course be revisiting again, there's the dissolution of the merit field. Once one is finished with one's practice, of course one very carefully dissolves all the figures in the merit field in a particular sequence, so that one begins at the bottom where the final figures that we visualize through the Dharma protectors, and then the dissolving into the row of the circle of enlightened beings just above, so that they kind of like go up and up like that, so that the Dharma protectors dissolve into the heroes and dakinis, and then into the hearers and so on, and then into the Pratik Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and right up until you go through the different tantric levels, and then into the figure of our own root guru, who we remember is visualized just in front of the main figure. And then the different assemblies to the left and the right, as you can see there, they dissolve upwards gradually, so that those of the new Kadampa grouping or the Geluk grouping dissolve into the three levels of the old Kadampas, the treatise, instructional and graduated path groupings, and they dissolve into the groupings of the extensive deeds and profound view lineages respectively, until all those groupings dissolve into the last two figures of Maitreya and Manjushri. And likewise, all of the consecrated practices lineages above the main figure dissolve gradually into the last remaining figure there is Vajradhara. So you're left with then 5 main figures, the main figure in the center, and then to the left and right, respectively, you have Manjushri and Maitreya above Vajradhara, and just in front one's own root guru.
What the Lama Tilami and the so young Yala to meditation with Punetic, what the nature, and the legend, and you get because of the Dawadoji Chandi, my because of the social soul, and you jump and you tell social soul. And around the General Lama, Zawel Lama, and Tapacha, social soul, Nikalish, so some such what did it check?
And so that. And then one can just pause at the dissolution at that point and focus on the 5 principal figures, as they are known. And that again, one can offer the 7-limb prayer and mandala, and then complete the dissolution, so that the figure of Vajradhara absorbs into the crown of the main figure at the center, and then also the figures of Manjushri and Maitreya absorb, and then our own root guru actually absorbs into the heart center of the main figure.
What did it what are the because of the sourcing because of the sourcing tip, sourcing Gange Daniel Sunday the judges of Tamjek, that sourcing the Gange Daniel to den. What Trini Lama Trini, the Kennedy, come to Children, the Swiss, what did that in the Gange Daniel to death? What did it?
And so then, once we reach that point, have just the one remaining principal figure of the merit field. We are aware that the main figure is the embodiment of all the different members of the merit field. We say you are the gurus, you are the idams, you are the dagas and dakinis, etc. So that we're certain that the main figure embodies all the Buddhas. And then again, we can make the 7-limb prayer with mandala offering. And so, for example, if we're practicing mental quiescence practice, then we would stop there and focus single-pointedly on the central figure. And then we can we bring that central figure to our crown by reciting, "O glorious and precious root guru, come take your lotus and moon seed placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind." And that's 3 times. And with the final recitation, we have this certainty of the Buddha remaining steadfast. Please look after me until I attain the state of enlightenment.
다 되네 다 야라 좀 bed에 다 조사 단지 못했지. 아니 되네다. 되네야. 왜 그러시지? 다 되네도다. 배 고충충치. 왜 그러시지? 뭐다. 아니 되네. 나도 민가를 빼봤다 맞게 봤어도 아니 되네. 지원만 된지자. 지금 잡으면은 막 이제 좀 삼사처럼 왔다지. 빨리 잡으면 말은 민가 배가 고소도 몰라. 다 배고 민가 고소. 수가 고소 때도 주네. 다 산재 고마마도 뭐도 제수 삼사.
And so then we can bring the Buddha through our central channel down through our central channel to our heart center, where we have prepared the upturned lotus and moon and sun disk mandala seat, and again through entreating and purification and the accumulation of merit, together with the 7-limb prayer, offering the 7-limb prayer and the mandala. And then again with the entreating prayer, supplicating prayer, O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seed placed here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. A first time starting the process, the second time bringing the Guru down to sit, and the third time this feeling of absolute steadfastness until we attain the state of enlightenment.
아니 되네. 랑이 신도 야고 정소. 산재 고마도 고도 아니 반달라면 제수 송수 야고 좀 써서 고마시.
And then we can really pause at that point and really rejoice, knowing that we have for certain got the protection and blessing of the Buddha right with us at our heart center until we attain the state of enlightenment.
아니 되네. 다 랑이 신도 저 롱이 내는 게 라마 반달라면 아니 거기다 라마 종가베 아니 고디 현지적인잖아. 랑이 위에 라마 종가베 꿀주소 섭사체.
And then we see through the combination of my own most subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, together with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own body transforms into the enlightened body of a Buddha.
소소 시도자가 셈데 년년처럼 라마 종가베 토디 현지적인 다그리도 라마 종가베 다그 셈데 라마 종가 토르
And then through the combination of my own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together with the mind of the Buddha, my own mind transforms into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And so then we have the certainty of my own body, speech and mind now becoming indivisible from the body, speech and mind of the Buddha. How fantastic, how wonderful this is. I have attained that state of enlightenment in order to be of maximum benefit to all sentient beings. This has happened today. How marvelous. And so that then seeing ourselves as this figure of like Lama Shakyamuni the Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, emanating from our heart center, our enlightened heart center, rays of light equal in number to all the sentient beings in the universe, and that through these light rays entering in through their crowns, they are relieved and purified completely of all negativities and obscurations, and they automatically, spontaneously arise as Buddhas, as enlightened beings. Also the faults of their place are purified, and those places transformed into Buddha realms. And how wonderful! I totally rejoice. My aspiration to really attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, to take all sentient beings to enlightenment, has actually reached its fruition today. How wonderful that is! I know though that this is only my thinking, my own kind of like thoughts today, but I really make a powerful dedication that this may become manifest as quickly as possible.
다들 심지 탐제가 된도 심지 탐제가 된도 아니 심지 탐제가 된 타지바 줘서 된도 산제 고바다 아니 두개가라도 다안 두개가 소소냐면 제 최대가 유대는 말도 똑바로 팔다 삼을 삼사체.
And I dedicate knowing that this state of enlightenment for which I am striving, all the sentient beings for whom I am striving, and that myself as the agent engaging in this and the practice itself are completely empty of inherent existence and are merely imputed by thought. Empty, they are empty. And from that emptiness arises bliss, and then I can abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. So leave it at that. We'll do our Lamrim prayer. From my two collections,
vast the space that I have amassed from working with the separate for a great length of time.
but for all those whose minds, wisdom eyes, blinded by ignorance,
I think just take your loving compassion for all life's meant-use, I find the best of complete greater paths of teachings, and may I please to all
all goes by my practice. Use